When you have a job that entails being on the open ocean, you have to be ready to expect the unexpected. In an environment where so much is unpredictable, in the blink of an eye, entire lives can change. This is something one ferry operator learned for himself firsthand. It all started out as a normal day, docking his boat, but then in an instant, he took his own life in his hands. The Swedish island of Gotland is a popular place for tourists from all around the world. However, no one knows the beauty of a place quite like the island's most popular ferry operator. His name is Johan Skarkerl. He nearly spent his entire life in Gotland. He works long hours each week to bring visitors to and from the Gotland island in a very sleek state-of-the-art ferry. Johan and his trusty crew saw their fair share of unusual things over the course of their career. However, one afternoon, they experienced something that shocked even these seasoned sailors. On this particular afternoon, the HSC Gotlandia II was docked in a large port in Visby, the island's most populated town. As Johan was getting off the vessel, he noticed there was some commotion occurring at the aft. Johan approached the flurry of activity and was told by a few people standing on the docks that they were almost certain there was some sort of animal clinging to the bottom of his ferry. Without hesitation, Johan changed into a specialized suit so he could enter the frigid water. The ocean waters at this time of year were especially cold, and without the proper gear, a person could quickly develop hypothermia and lose consciousness. Johan knew better than to tempt fate. Once Johan was sure his special suit was fastened tightly, he began to climb down the ladder into the ocean. He knew there were people looking out for his safety, but he wanted to take precautions of his own. Of course, if you've ever heard of the Polar Bear Club, then you know there are those who knowingly enter dangerously frigid water, wearing nothing but bathing suits. However, Johan's mission was far more important than an entertaining dip in the water. Soon enough, Johan found himself adjusting to the water's temperature. Sure, the suit he was wearing prevented much of the cold from affecting him, but when dealing with temperatures near freezing, nothing will entirely keep the cold out. It took Johan a few minutes to adjust to the water, but once he was ready, he slowly maneuvered his body onto his back. This was the position he was going to take for his journey, and there was a very specific reason why. The specialized suit that Johan was wearing was popular among sailors and others who spent much of their time on the ocean. When the person wearing it flipped onto their back, the suit acted like an insulated flotation device, which is exactly what Johan needed. As Johan floated, he paddled both of his arms back towards his ship. He still had no idea what he was going to find, but if it was an animal, he didn't want to startle it. Slowly but surely, Johan made his way closer to the aft end of the HSC Gotlandia II. Once he arrived, he flipped over onto his stomach and reached his hand up to a ledge that wasn't visible from the dock. What was he about to grab? Within seconds of Johan reaching onto the back ledge, he came floating out on his back, with a small animal resting on his chest. It wasn't immediately apparent what it was, but soon, people were in shock. It was a cat. He didn't seem to be injured, but he was clearly frazzled by the entire ordeal. The feline was lucky someone spotted him. It had no way of getting onto the dock without the assistance of a human. Once Johan got close enough, he tossed the cat onto the dock with one swift motion. The frazzled feline seemed to understand he was finally safe on land. Thanks to his human hero. The suit Johan was wearing did its job, and the frigid waters didn't inhibit him from making sure he completed his task. Of course, Johan wasn't a man to give up, and either way, he would have ensured the cat's safe return. The cat, slightly disoriented, hung around the dock for a short time before finally wandering off into the town of Visby. Johan thought about adopting the little guy, but if the cat belonged to a town resident, he didn't want to strip them of their incredibly lucky pet. They say cats have 9 lives, and this guy certainly spent one if not more, clinging to the back of Johan's ferry. If it wasn't for the people on the dock who saw him, he most likely would not have lived to enjoy another day catching mice. It's people like Johan who helps to restore our faith in humanity. He saw an animal in need and didn't hesitate to put in whatever effort it took to save it.